All
Yeah.
right. So, Michael, you had a topic idea for our first episode. What is that, and what would you like to discuss?
Excellent. So when we jumped on the call this morning, you're like, oh, I didn't know if you were joking or not. But I don't joke, mate. Actually, I joke all the time. That's the problem. Is the episode I want this to talk about is scaling. Now,
Oh,
scaling is a beautiful word that has been bastardized in our industry because I don't know any immature business or adolescent business that doesn't use that word as like their focus. And I think that word has been really lost along the way. And what scaling is, how to do scaling, and why most people will never scale. So scaling is this episode because you and I both know that I reckon 80% of people come to us use the word scaling, and we can tell
yeah.
from like the first 5 minutes that they're not going to scale, whatever that word means in their mind.
Right. I like to refer to it as the S word, you know.
Oh, yes.
And here's the thing, guys. It's not that it's bad to want to scale. It's just, how are you defining it? And I think that is the most important thing. If you just hear it as a buzzword and it sounds like the cool thing to do, and you know you're a business and you need to be quote unquote thriving, okay, scale. Let's just scale and be more successful. It's just like the word success, right? If you don't have that clearly defined, you're never going to get there. And not to sound like a Tony Robbins of the world, but really, you do have to define these things if you're going to achieve the goal, or else you're just going to be thinking, are we scaling yet? Is this what scale looks like? You don't know, right? So you've got to clearly define it. That's usually one of the first things. I don't know about you, Michael. When I talk to prospective clients, training consultants, whatever, I ask them to define what their goals are. I ask them, are we focused primarily on volume, right? Getting more sales, leads, whatever it is, or is it efficiency? Is it terrible right now? We are not profitable. We're making a sale, but we're not profitable on each of those sales. Are the leads that are coming in, are they awful quality? Do we need to fix that? Is it something with the sales team? Is the tracking off? Is it efficiency based? Is our primary strategy build, or is it going to be volume? Because in my mind, scale means volume. Right now, everybody's gonna be a little bit different here, but that's how I think about it. How do you talk about it with prospective clients?
Well, mate, what you just said then was perfect. So I have nothing to say. Let's turn this
Okay.
chat off. I'll go now. You can chat for the rest of the podcast. So that is absolutely correct. Is getting the clear definition or the meaning of what scaling means to the client is first, or success, or whatever the result looks like. Clarity really is power, and most people do not know they clearly want. Jack and I, like Jack, the senior specialist who works with myself, every week we do a check-in, and one of the columns on like every client that we check in is like clear goal and KPI. And because I realized after a while, there are so many clients that didn't have a clear goal or a KPI or an outcome. So the first thing is, like you said, clearly define what the goal is. Is it more leads, more sales? Is it more profitable, or scaling? And this is where scaling becomes the issue, because I've experienced now. I'm only going to be doing this thing called direct experience talking in this podcast, or observed experience, from either what I've experienced myself with clients or what I've experienced third hand just by observing clients and their businesses. None of this is what people are saying online, by the way. This is only our experience and what I've seen. Most people who want to scale just want the business to grow astronomically by just like pushing a few buttons with the same margin, more spend, but the same return on ad spend or the same cost per lead. And that's what I tend to see. What I see with scaling is people have this expectation that myself, Michael Nadalin, or Market Lead, or Cory Lindholm, we do some things for a month and then we hit just like a new high, and then that's the new expectation. Profitability is relatively the same. Things like the return on ad spend are relatively the same. There's no diminishing returns. It's just like setting the new benchmark for the future.
Right. Couldn't agree more. And I think it's really key to point out, when we're talking about, usually there's two major routes. You're either trying to get things to be more efficient with your spend. So your marketing spend, getting it to make you more profits overall, right? And then there's also the other way to go, which is the volume scaling, or whatever you want to call it, increasing the volume. Now, I want to make a really clear designation between those, because a lot of clients will come to you and they're usually undereducated about these things. And they say, all right, in 3 months, we want 5x the leads or sales, but we got to stay at a 5x return on ad spend. And I go, what are we at right now? Oh, well, we're at like a 3.5 or a 3 usually. And I go, okay, so we have 1 quarter to almost double our efficiency of our ad spend whilst also scaling our volume by 3 to 5x or whatever it is their goal is. Guys, it's unrealistic. It's just reality. Okay. Usually those strategies diverge, and that's really, really crucial here. So I'm not saying that you can't have both. It does happen. Sometimes we get lucky and we find a target audience that just crushes, and sometimes increasing the efficiency also increases the volume, but I would not go into it expecting that, right? So I think having realistic expectations is very, very vital here. And this is for all you account managers and consultants out there too. Like, we don't want to be setting that type of precedent, right, for clients. I think that creates this really toxic environment where everybody's just over promising and under delivering. We look bad as an industry. I think that we need to take more pride in that and really stop doing that. Let's be realistic. Let's say, look, what's our primary goal for the account? Is it volume or is it efficiency? At least to start. Usually what I find, I don't know about you, Michael, but usually it's like, if it's efficiency first, we very quickly solve that. It's like tracking issues, or it's targeting, or the search terms are a freaking mess. It's just, they haven't added negatives in a year or whatever. The keywords are all broad match, or it's DSA and nobody's monitoring it. There's a lot of really common things. But once that stuff is really in line and we've gotten a lot of the junk out of there, it becomes volume focused very, very quickly, which is very exciting. And then, you're going to fix profitability issues along the way as you're scaling towards more volume. So I think those are really, really key designations. A couple things I wanted to add to that.
That's amazing, man. I don't even know to where to go from there. That I completely agree. A lot of times when, hearing the word scaling is, people don't know what that means, once again. And I think where to go with this. You actually cover that really well, because I'm just thinking a lot of the times when we actually successfully scale clients, they're never the clients who actually ask to scale. It's that they've come to us with their business and we do what we do. Maybe the account was in a good shape or a really bad shape. We fix that up, and then we make other adjustments and recommendations to landing pages, websites, operational requests for them, and then scaling happens. It's not something that is forced. It's not like there's a scaling button, but it's usually the clients who come requesting scaling who are the ones who probably won't, because they're probably doing all those micro efficiencies in the business. They're probably making all these changes. They're probably watching all the videos, and they've already probably set themselves on a trajectory that's probably maybe opposite to scaling, because sometimes scaling comes from building a brand or building other assets in the business that actually help grow the company over time, like an organism that has its own organic growth, rather than just being like the ads are the scaling factor. It's like, no, the business is scaling and the ads are there to support it. It's almost like I like the gym analogy a lot. Like, all of this stuff in the business, like lifting weights, advertising is like steroids. Like, we're only adding steroids to what's working. If you're not doing the core fundamentals to make the business naturally grow in that direction, scaling will never happen, because like you're just pumping steroids into a muscle that's never actually like stress tested. So yeah, but I think what you said was perfect. I don't even know what to say. I was kind of rambling just then. I don't even think I need to be here.
Stop.
You can go back to bed.
So I want to add one quick thing for you large advertisers, right? So that's all relative. What does large mean? Let's just say you have a more intelligent strategy that is needed. And let's just say maybe a little bit more complicated, more complex. And what I mean is, you have these intelligent goals that are segmented within the account, right? Some of those clients are going to come to you and say, our branded search needs there. We want more volume. How do we do that? You might know, Michael, scaling brand with Google is very tricky. That's a whole nother topic. But let's just say it's usually not that. It's usually going to be like, branded's good. We're getting good impression share, blah, blah, blah. We've tested different bid levels, bidding strategies. Branded search is solid. We have issues scaling shopping ads, right? In that case, we're going to have maybe volume goals for shopping, but then non-brand search needs a little bit of tweaking with efficiency. So yeah, I get it. Larger advertisers, we are definitely going to have kind of like a multifaceted approach. We're going to say, okay, non-branded search is going to have really a focus on fixing efficiency issues. Again, usually it's the obvious thing, negative keywords, keyword targeting, look at the match types, yada, yada, depending on how complex your funnel is. And then shopping is, let's say it's volume based. There's going to be a set of strategies that we implement for those things. So yeah, it's not going to be just like one or the other. Usually for larger advertisers, we're going to have a mix of goals. So obviously do keep those things in mind. And if you're working with someone that's competent, they should be able to work you through understanding that and showing you the way for each of those designated strategies.
Awesome, mate. That's amazing. I was just thinking, when we had a chat last time privately, we were talking about scaling, and that you and I have crossed over with a few businesses who I think might have seen us both on the Solutions 8 YouTube channel, and they've both reached out to us, I think months apart, because they might have come to you for consulting, then come to me, or me to you. And those businesses were some of the businesses that were usually the ones who were wanting scaling, and they came across as problematic as well. So what I'm just trying to think is, what is a way to set expectations around this? Like with the idea of scaling, I feel like it is such a loaded word, and I get when businesses want to grow, but I feel like scaling's like this, it has a meaning behind it, that we want to have like a significant or astronomical growth within a short period of time by just kind of like doing a few things. Like if we want to have a 200%, 300% growth in our company, they want to just do that in the advertising, not change the business processes and systems and operations. I just feel like the business systems and operations are perfectly set up. It's just that the ads aren't pumping in fast enough. Yeah. What do you, like, us just having a conversation right now, like what is the solution to people doing this? Like, do you think this most of the time, if they think of the word scaling, it's just like, don't think of that word. Come back to the core fundamentals of your business. Or do you think, yes, focus on scaling, but you've got to change a lot of things? Your thoughts?
So what I think about is opportunity. Do we have opportunity, let's say in the market or competitively, however you like to think about it? Is there opportunity to scale that portion of your business? For example, a lot of clients come and they say, we have 80% of our revenue or whatever net sales coming through, our top 10 product categories or our top 2 departments or whatever. We want to scale more of that. Is there a market to allow you to scale that volume? Now, this is going to take, if you're really a larger advertiser, you've got the budget for it, you honestly need to take some of your money and go hire a market research firm who can honestly give you a fair assessment of where you stand in the marketplace competitively, et cetera. Google Ads is not going to be your market research tool.
Yeah.
It should not be your primary market research tool. It should be a supplement to a full-on firm where that is their whole job, is to do a full analysis of that. So that aside, I think about the word opportunity. Have we tested different budget levels? Have we tested more aggressive bidding strategies for those particular products or for that particular service offering? What did that look like, right? So what I'm really saying is, let's look at historical data. What looks realistic? How were things being done when that was being tested? What was happening at that time? Were we the only person in the market at the time offering that service in that target location? Did we have the cheapest pricing at that point? Were we always overstocked and everyone else was understocked? You can see the complexity here gets pretty murky and pretty thick. And this is why you really need someone that knows what they're doing to kind of talk you through these things. Because if we just say like, oh, well, let me reverse engineer your search impressions here. Oh, looks like there's 1.7 million potential impressions. Yeah, we got scale opportunity. No, that's not how this works. We don't know the quality of those impressions. You probably don't want to be in 100% of auctions, even if it seems like your exact match keywords are on point. So yeah, I usually think about it in very simple terms. Is there actually opportunity to scale? That's usually where I start.
Yeah. That's beautiful, mate. And as you were saying that, I was reflecting on probably the 2 main levers that are there. It's either traffic volume or conversion rate. The only way you're going to scale is by having a higher volume of traffic, with the expectation that the traffic is good quality. It's not just like random rubbish traffic, but quantity of traffic increases and or conversion rate increases as well. Because the only way you're going to scale is that by getting more sales or leads that's due to conversion rate and traffic. So is there more opportunity for more qualified traffic to come through to your landing page, your website? And if there's the ability to, is there ability to increase the conversion rate? or the average order value if
100%.
you're doing e-commerce. We may work now in lead generation, so we just look at is there a way we can move from a 1 to 2% conversion rate on a website to a 10 to 15% on a landing page? Same volume of traffic coming through, but then we could like 5 to 10 times their leads that come out of it. Then we add on the increasing the quantity of quality traffic coming through advertising, making changes to the account, increasing the radiuses, the locations, the offers, all those things. So when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, like you said, is the opportunity there, and is the opportunity there to ultimately like get more high quality traffic and increase the conversion rate or increase the average order value if it's e-commerce. And then the most important thing, especially for lead generation, can the people actually sell? Like when you get the leads, are they following up the leads? Are they calling the leads? They're like selling the leads. Like with e-commerce, there is a beautiful aspect of it where you've got the binary, like you either got the sale or not. Lead generation, you're just getting a lead. Like a lot of our work ends with the lead, and I'm doing a lot of post-lead work with clients, but still it's like I'm not jumping on the phone. I'm not calling these leads. I think I'd probably do a better job most of the time, but it's just, the opportunity is probably the main thing that people need to look out for. Is the scope of growth really there? And most of the time it's not.
It's not. And I was going to say, not always, right? And you did remind me of another really important point here, and this is just for you e-com people. Is your fulfillment going to allow for additional volume? I am having that literally at this moment. I've worked with this client for over 3 years. I love working with them. They are awesome. We just had the best last 6 months we've ever had. And that's right, folks. Sometimes it can take several years to get things like fully cranked up because they just didn't have the marketing budget to allow for it. They didn't have the site optimized as well as they'd like. Some of these projects just take a long time. It is what it is. Now that they have all of that ready to go, their conversion rate is skyrocketing because they worked with a site developer, a conversion rate expert. Now I can start going, all right, finally I can crank up the gas on Google Ads and start pushing. We've been absolutely crushing it for 6 months, but now we're running into other issues, which is fulfillment, because all of their products get shipped from New Zealand. You can imagine how difficult that is. So this is another very important factor for you e-com people. You might run into this problem, and it's a good problem to have, but all of a sudden sales start skyrocketing. You're thinking you're getting what you want, but you're like, uh-oh, we did not project nearly enough for this, and now we can't fulfill these orders. That's a whole new problem in itself. So also make sure to take that into account.
That's amazing, man. Especially that's what I'm seeing a lot in the lead generation space now. We've got huge aircon companies, but then summer comes and people like submit a lead to get their aircon fixed, and then they've got to wait like 8 weeks because like there's only so much human talent that could be implementing and building and like fixing these aircons or installing them. And it is a lot of what I'm seeing in I've got this funnel that I show prospects of like what success in business looks like. It's stage 1 is lead generate. This is for lead generation. Stage 1 is lead generation. Stage 2 is sales. So you got to turn those leads into sales. Stage 3 is like fulfillment, aka operations. So you go from leads to sales to operations. And then stage 4 is either like retention or referral. But a lot of people, they come in working with you, failing at stage 1. And then you get the leads. And then the leads come through. And then they fail at stage 2, the sales. But then ultimately what I'm seeing with a lot of businesses now that we work with is this failing at stage 3, which is the operations and the fulfillment side. And then I was like thinking, I was speaking to my girlfriend about it. I'm like, well, if they didn't have these issues, they probably wouldn't be working with me because they'd be like multi-billion-dollar like international like companies and franchises. So these things aren't supposed to be perfect, and most businesses will never get them perfect. But you've always just got to look for ways to increase the probability of success. So for like lead generation, it's like, how do we get more leads at a better cost? And then when you get the leads through, it's like, how do we get more sales, like higher sales rate and better sales, average sales value? And then the fulfillment, how do you just do that properly? And it's the same with e-com. Like, how do we just get a lot of cost-effective traffic, good conversion rate, average order values high, fulfillment good? Because if they had all these things perfectly, they would be like e-commerce. They would just be the next Amazon. Like, no business is supposed to have this perfect. But ultimately, I've just started to notice that there are so many gaps beyond the ad account that like the ads is just like one step of a multi-step approach that either helps scaling or scaling won't just happen. And it's usually not because of ads.
Exactly. Awesome. Anything else we should add? I feel like that's good. At
Mate,
this
we've
point,
been
longer than
ranting
we
and
thought.
raving for ages.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that was enjoyable for you. I hope this is what you're looking for in terms of content on YouTube or wherever you're going to watch this. Michael, this is fun, man. We should definitely keep doing this, guys. This is episode 1. Give us some slack, all right? We're warming up. Definitely let us know if you have topics or things that you want us to talk about. We want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. It makes it fun for us too. So please submit your questions in any kind of comment section that's available. Be nice. Again, we are just getting started with this. Yeah, and thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and really looking forward to another episode, Michael.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Well, mate, thank you for an amazing intro, talking most of the time, and the outro. The other thing is, Cory, how can people find you, mate?
I am best found on LinkedIn. I also have a YouTube channel just launched, so go ahead and check me out there as well, just by my name, Cory Lindholm.
Excellent. So go follow that. You can find me on LinkedIn, Michael Nadalin, or go to marketlead.com.au, and also the YouTube channel, Market Lead. It's all about paid ads, Google ads, and landing pages. So there we go. Excited for another episode, but you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.